What's happening, guys? So, trying to do the 6 weeks of shredding. So go ahead and click the PDF real quick, pull it on up. Ba-boom. All right, 6 weeks of shred. So, one thing you'll have to do is don't change your diet. Don't change anything you're eating. Write down everything you are eating for at least a week, at least a minimum of 5 days. And then you're going to average it, right? You're going to average it. You're going to write down everything. You're going to average your macros, so your carbs, fats, and proteins, and average your total number of calories. Um, so let's say I did that, and these are my averages, right? You don't want to change anything because this is what your body's used to. This is what your body's used to consuming on average in a week. If you're changing it, how will you know where to go from, where to start with, what to manipulate, things like that. So let's say this is what I was eating on average, and at the end of week 6, this is what I'm going to slowly drop down to. I'm not going to do it all at once. Your body, if you do it all at once, your body will go in shock. Your workouts will suck. You'll more likely be going catabolic, so you'll be burning a lot of muscle, which is what we're not trying to do. And then Monday through Sunday, let's say this meal plan right here is actually the 4,000 calorie meal plan, but that actually matches up exactly to this. So if I was eating this exact thing Monday through Sunday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to manipulate, just pulling little parts of it apart through each week to change my diet and how to really lean out. All right, so that's that diet plan right there. So one thing you will have to do is cardio, at least 3 times a week for the first week, shooting for 45 minutes. Now, it doesn't have to be like a sprint for 45 minutes. It can be a jog. It can either be like a power walk on an incline, an elliptical, something just to get you sweating, something to burn calories. This is going to create a calorie deficit. And one other thing, after like week 1, week 2, once you start losing more calories and doing the cardio, your heavy resistance training, so the 5x5, 5x3, you're not really going to be doing a heavier type of resistance training program. You're going to do more of a bodybuilding program where you're going reps of 10, reps of 12, a lot of compound sets, a lot of supersets, stuff like that, just to chase a pump. Because you will lose strength, but the idea is to maintain that muscle mass. If you look at bodybuilders, they change up their whole program. They're no longer lifting heavy once they go into once they're 12, 16 weeks out of a bodybuilding competition. They're just trying to maintain their muscle mass and lean out. What they do is they just, lift light, but they go for tons and tons of reps, tons and tons of volume. And even their cardio, they might start off, doing sprints, doing higher intensity type of cardio, but ultimately what happens is the goal is to try to lose as much body fat and maintain as much muscle mass. So a lot of time they'll get into more of a power walking state where they're going to tap into more of their oxidative system, which is fat burning. You might burn less calories walking, but what the calories you do burn come strictly from fat. So you don't always have to run. Um, Enough of that. So, all right, week 1, this was my original diet. And week 1, I'm just going to drop a little bit. So what I'm going to do is drop my carbs, 37 grams, drop my fat, about 20 grams, and my protein's actually going to maintain the same. So all I'm going to do is now I'm taking out just this little bit. And you notice I'm taking this last baked potato out from the dinner. Baked potato is going to be gone, so that's some carbohydrates. And I'm also taking out a total of 4 yolks, which is going to be all fat. I'm going to take 2 from breakfast and 2 from my shake at night. So that's a little fat at nighttime that I'm going to take out, and some fat in the morning. And honestly, if you're used to taking this in, that is not that much to where you're going to miss. You're only dropping about 300 calories a day, but dropping 300 calories plus your cardio, this is just from the calories that you're burning out. So 328 calories a day, losing 2,296 calories that week, plus whatever you burn cardiovascular wise. So that's creating a calorie deficit right there. So you might lose a pound that first week. And this, if you're shooting for this, now your body's going to adapt. It's going to change. It's going to get used to taking in these less calories. It's going to adapt to the cardio. So what we're going to do, keeping the cardio at least about 3 times a week for 45 minutes. And we're keeping our fat, keeping our protein the same. Now I'm going to cut out another 45 grams of carbs. So I'm going to take out a half cup of rice with dinner 1 and a half cup of rice with dinner 2. So dinner 1, I got a cup of rice, just knock it in half. And lunch 2, I got a cup of rice, just going to knock it in half. Again, it's not that big of a difference to where your body should get shock from that big change. Eventually you'll start to miss, with the additions of cardio, miss that little bit of carbohydrates, but hopefully it's just enough of a small change to where your body won't your workouts won't suffer, and physically you won't lose any muscle mass. But you notice now, from our original diet, we're losing 508 calories on average per day, and a total of 3,556 a week. So that's a pound right there from our original diet, right? So even if we did this without the cardio, we should be leaning out just a little bit, but the cardio is definitely going to help, so you got to do it. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Week 3, all right, I'm cutting down that peanut butter sandwich just to a half a peanut butter sandwich. And I wrote it down for all 3 because you're losing a little bit of protein, losing a little bit of fat, losing a little bit of carbs. Now my calories are right on around average, 3,500. So that's 696 calories from our total, from our average, and that'd be what I'm missing from what we began. Again, still keeping the cardio about 3 times a week for 45 minutes. Now you can extend this 6 weeks out longer than the 6 weeks. If you're seeing a lot of success rate around here with dropping weight, no need to cut down more. You might repeat week 3, repeat week 2, if you keep seeing progress. But as we get into week 4, now we're cutting out that other half of that peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So that's going to drop us even more. This would be on average what we lose a day from that original before we went on the diet, and almost at 2 pounds of fat a week. But we're dropping the cardio because now we're getting in more of a deficit. We don't want to be burning up all of our muscle glycogen with our workouts and with our cardio, because that's where it's going to get, you're going to start actually going more anabolic and burning muscle tissue, which we're trying to avoid. And this is where you really might switch up, and if you've been running the first couple weeks, or elliptical or rower or whatever it is you're doing, and we're getting that high intense, you might actually go to a power walk now, just because you're going to really want to tap in that oxidative system, and you're really going to want to reserve those muscles for lifting weights, for the resistance training, not burn them out when you're doing the cardio. Week 5, I got the banana up there in the pre-workout, so we're going to cut out the banana. That's not going to affect our fats or protein. And now we're down 1,000 calories from our original, and that's 2 pounds of fat. 1 pound of fat is 3,500 calories. So, this is just from cutting out, leaning out, cutting out some other stuff in our diet. In week 6, this is the 2 tablespoons of Hershey syrup. You could cut this out a little sooner, but tastes good, so leave it in as long as possible. So this is stevia. Stevia is not a artificial sugar. It is plant-based, so it doesn't have your body will recognize it as a food source. It's easy to process. There's 0 calories to it. And then I'm cutting out 2 more yolks. I'll probably cut out 1 in the evening, 1 in the morning, so I'm still getting 1 yolk. And you notice, now that is what I'm totally missing from, on average, a week, dropping my calories all the way down to 3,000. And I'm going to maintain that 3 times a week cardio and just keep on walking. Again, you might extend this whole thing out to 12 weeks, so you just might repeat each week twice. one thing that you're trying to do is keep that protein high. That protein is going to stay high. If you notice, I didn't tried to not cut out any protein. Main reason is your body needs protein to rebuild and replenish those muscles. Plus, if you're keeping the high source of protein, your body is going to be less likely to break down those muscles. That's why we're slowly trying to pull out those carbs and those fats over 6 weeks, 12 weeks worth of time. And one other thing that is pretty easy. This diet is already pretty clean up top. But if you're doing you might change this week 1 before you even cut out any carbs. This is 90% lean ground beef. If you're doing the 85% lean ground beef, you could switch it up to if you switched it to a 96%, 97% lean ground beef, that's going to be a huge drop of fat. As well as if you do the turkey, the ground turkey. Ground turkey is a little bit leaner, but you still can get the 85% ground turkey. You might switch it up to the 93 or the 97% ground turkey, and as well as your chicken breast. Chicken breast is pretty lean, but if you're doing the chicken thighs, the chicken thighs are higher in fat. Again, you might switch it to a chicken breast. So even just switching those meats, you'll cut down on the fat percentage that you're taking in. Well, if you guys got any questions, hope this helps a lot. This is going to be a great template. Another thing that would be easy to switch if you're using, whole milk, 2% milk, switching up the milk just to a skim milk because there's no fat to it. Things like that are going to also change this diet if I wanted to keep leaning out. If I really wanted to drop calories, which I wouldn't recommend, if I switched all my meats to fish, a white fish, so usually like a tilapia, there's no carbs, no fats with the lean fish like that. So I'd be really cutting down on my fat sources. But my body tends to run pretty well on a higher fat content because I do a lot of walking around throughout the day. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, let me know. Hope this helps a lot. Definitely write down your averages. Don't change your diet just yet. Write down everything you got, at least Monday through Friday. I always include the weekends just because my weekends are tend to where I mess up a lot. So Monday through Sunday, write down all your averages, carbs, fats, protein, total those calories, average everything, and then you'll get this baseline to where, all right, on average, this is what I'm eating. Now let's slowly cut out 25 grams of carbs, slowly cut out 10 grams of fat a week, and then eventually this number is going to drop in addition to the cardio you're going to do. You're slowly going to pull that fat off, and you're not going to do it all at once so your body goes into shock. You're going to try to preserve as much muscle mass as possible. And if at all possible, I know I don't have it written in, but really try to split up your cardio, meaning your cardio should be separate from your resistance training. If you can go to do 2 a days at the gym, do 2 a days. Do the cardio either in the morning or do your resistance training in the morning and do the other in the afternoon or the evening. Personally, I like to do the cardio in the evening. You can kind of just hop on a treadmill or something and do it mindlessly, not really think about it. But if you can, split it up. You'll get better results. But yeah, enjoy, guys. Email me if you got any questions.